What's good, y'all? Today we back with another video, and in this video I want to explain a little bit more of why I purchased the 2Bus Plus. Yesterday I released a video showing how I can use the 2Bus Plus with my MPC, but that's not actually the real reason why I purchased 2Bus Plus. And today I would like to go over a little bit of that with you. Maybe talk about some other things as well, but let's go ahead and get into it. Follow me. Now, as you know, everyone's situation is a little bit different. Some people like digital recording, some people like analog. Me, I am moving into a blend of both worlds. We'll call that the hybrid studio, as many people refer to it. Now, I've seen a lot of people talk about consoles and how they use them in their setup. For my personal setup, I didn't want to go the console route. It's a little bit too big for me. It's too bulky. I didn't want to put a console in my space. So it made more sense to go with a summing mixer. That way, I can still get a lot of the power out of that console type of sound without utilizing a big chunk of space. Something like that works well for me. I already have a lot of stuff taking up a lot of space that I need to reorganize and do a lot of cable management on anyway, so I definitely didn't want to go the console route. Now, I did show an extreme example using it with the MPC. I didn't completely break it out into stems like I normally would if I was mixing a track or something like that. I just kept it in a 2-track and ran it through the 2Bus just to show kind of what it can do. But that's not actually like the normal situation that I would use it in. Now, I had some people asking me, well, why would you spend that much money on a 2Bus Plus just to use it with MPC? It doesn't make sense unless you're recording, mixing, editing, full songs, and that sort of thing. Well, I actually do that a lot, actually. I just don't make a lot of videos on that particular aspect of what I do. There's a few floating around somewhere. I might put one that we just had some fun messing around with up here in one of these corners if you want to watch it, if you're bored or something like that. No big deal. Let me show you my recording template in Cubase Pro, currently 13. That's my DAW of choice. A lot of people like other DAWs. Everybody has their preference. Fine. You use Ableton, FL Studio, Pro Tools, whatever you use, that's on you. Have fun with it. I prefer to use Cubase. So let's have a look at it now. So this right here is my template that I built from scratch in Cubase to use for recording and editing projects. I named this the Hitmaker template. You might have some differences. There might be things that you like to do that's way different than this. Some things you do might be the same, but I just want to go over it and show you the real reason why I purchased the 2Bus Plus. This template is pre-built with just about any and everything that I could possibly need for recording, editing songs, to try to speed up the process so I don't have to create all of this stuff as I go. Right now, everything is in folders, kind of color coded towards the general type of tracks that are in each folder. Now, the tracks themselves in the folders, they're all over the spectrum. Sometimes I'll change the colors as I go, but for starting out, they're just pretty much everywhere. So to start at the top, we got a folder full of mono tracks, 48 mono tracks for tracking in vocals, maybe guitars, maybe bass, things like that. Any type of mono instruments or mono sounds, I'm starting out with 48 mono tracks to record to. Next, we have stereo tracks. I have 24 stereo tracks set up to record straight to if I'm recording any stereo sources or any multi-timbral stereo type instruments. They can be recorded directly to one of these 24 stereo tracks. Now, beyond that, I also have, I believe it's 48 MIDI tracks set up. Yeah, 48 MIDI tracks ready to go. All I have to do is assign them to whatever instrument or sounds I want to assign it to, and then build from there as I go. So it's really quick. I don't have to create those tracks as I go. I'll just assign them to whatever MIDI track I want to use, and I'm off to the races. Right here I have an instrumental track or instrumental track folder, and it's labeled instrumental because sometimes when I'm recording I may have a 2-track there if I don't have stems, or there are some cases where I use that to place a reference track or something like that, so that I can double check the mix or bounce back and forth to see the changes that I made. So that's kind of what that's for. A chord track under here just so I can get a vision of what the chords are in the song. This is mainly just to put the instrumental track or a reference track right here if I only have the 2-track of an instrumental. A little below that we have our FX send set up for stuff that I use all the time: reverbs, delays, chorus effects, you know, the basics. Stuff that I use a lot over and over again, and I have send set up all ready to go straight to that. Then we have the 2-bus mix channel, which is the 2-bus return track, and then also the stereo out, to the main stereo out for exporting songs and whatnot. Pretty standard. Now I skipped over my group tracks, so these are like my bus tracks: lead vocal bus 1, lead vocal bus 2, backup vocals, kick and snare track, because I keep my kick and snare usually in the same group, percussion, bass, and then I like to separate instruments by frequency range or about how they sound, like the higher range instruments, mid-range instruments, lower range instruments, so on and so forth. Then my special effects would be like any other things I add in there: risers, I don't know, reverse snares, or any like little, I don't know, extra sounds that I might put in a beat or a song or whatnot. And then the last step would be the 2-bus sends. So these are all of the sends that send all of the bus tracks out to the Q bus, to different places, to wherever they basically need to go. So maybe if I have a lead vocal, I want to send it to the mono tracks on the 2-bus plus, so it'll make sure that those vocals are mono and up in your face, like have a strong presence. Or maybe I just want to send the backup vocals to a regular 2-bus output, so that they still kind of open and I can maybe pan them left and right or something like that. But this is the gist of why I really purchased the 2-bus plus, so that I can take my songs and mix them in an analog environment outside of the digital space. There are, like I said in the previous video, pros and cons. There's a much wider field of view that you get when mixing in analog, and it also feels like you can get more depth out of it. This is just my opinion. You may think something different, that's totally fine. Now, the cons of using an analog summing mixer really is just that it takes a learning curve, because the sound is different from the digital space. It's a clear difference, and it's hard to explain it unless you actually hear it. Once you hear the difference, it's like something that you can't unhear. Also, another con, which may or may not be a con, is once you're done with the song and you want to go to export that song out, you have to export the song in real time and let the song play. That's really the only way to do it. Otherwise, it will bypass the analog summing mixer. So that's just one thing you have to keep in mind. It kind of slows that particular portion of the process down a little bit. But other than that, I do think you get a better overall sound, a better overall picture of what you're trying to create. It's not so much for adding like an effect to the sound, although this particular summing mixer can color a sound and add some effects to it. That's not particularly what a summing mixer is for. And that may be one thing that you want to keep in mind. This is not like an outboard effects module, although you can use it to apply effects to the sound. I hope I'm making sense. I may not be explaining that correctly or using proper terminology. I'm just trying to put it in terms where anybody can kind of understand. Now, that being said, we are almost into 2024, and I want to make some differences or some changes in my videos moving forward. I actually have 32 videos from this year that I never put out. A lot of the reason for that is because I didn't feel like it was up to the standards of the videos that I had been putting out, so I just didn't want to release them. So moving forward, I'm gonna try my best to not do that no more. I'm just gonna unload the clip. If I record a video, I'm just gonna go ahead and put the content out. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, feel free to let me know. There's gonna be no problem with that. I just want to make sure that I try to give you as much content as possible instead of just holding back. I feel like that might be a little bit of a bad habit. Even if I don't feel like the content is the best that it could possibly be, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out anyway, and whatever happens, happens. So that's pretty much all I got for this video. Hope you got something out of it. Not really much of a teaching type of video, just more of an explanatory video basically. So yeah, that's all I got. I'm out.